Play the goddamn Chariots of Fire music. Here we come. Cruising down the street. Run walking it. Day 51. Look at that. Damn, son. Country living, country bumpkin. Wow. Breathtaking. Yo, good walk run. Hammies still not firing the way they need to, but they're getting there. They're getting a little better. Used on my ride over to where I run at is where my old house is, and there's some good trails there, so I run those trails with my brother-in-law, sister-in-law, and my boy Josh Kim, and I use this Hypervolt ball right here. This thing's amazing. It vibrates, and I just sit on it in the car a lot, and it actually has been helping me a lot. I've had a tight groin since like 2006. You hear that? 2006, 2008, something like that. Probably more like 2008, and it's just been, it's so balled together and it fucking hurts, but it doesn't usually bug me that much. I can usually like kind of limber up and get ready for a workout, and I can just kind of pass by it. But now I think it's kind of manifesting into the hamstring. You know how like your injuries kind of move around a little bit? And I think that's what's going on. But anyway, I had a good walk run. And any of you out there, you know, considering a little bit of running, like run for like 10 seconds. 10 seconds. A little run, just a little boop, 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 little football jog that you used to do to make your coach happy that you were running, right? When you just get the football pads bouncing. Remember that run? Or some of you guys that did some wrestling and stuff like that too, maybe a little wrestling jog. Just run for 10 seconds and then walk for like 30. You know, and repeat, and try to do, I don't know, try to do 10 of those, and then walk the rest of the way. Just walk the rest of the way. Next time you do it, try to go for 15 seconds, like really just small incremental. There's really no reason for you to go out today and try to run 3 miles out of nowhere when you're not used to it. It's gonna be way too uncomfortable. I got to bring my son to school, which I really enjoy doing. I love spending time with him and spending some time in the car. For some reason, there's no buses out here. I don't know why, but some of you that watch this and you're on the East Coast, you're like, why don't your kids just take the bus? They don't have them out here. I don't know. California's weird. They don't have them in this area anyway. I've never even really, it's really rare to even see a school bus. Strange shit. Anyway, I enjoy taking him to school, and he's almost old enough to drive himself to school. That's coming up next month. I'm excited and fired up for that. But I do enjoy spending time with him, especially, you know, in the morning, and then, you know, getting to see him and my daughter again later on at night is, it's huge. It's everything to me. Super, super important stuff. I made a post about my daughter. You might have seen the one yesterday. Let me make sure this thing's still recording. Yep, because sometimes it just shuts off. I made a post about her yesterday and about, you know, being inclusive, you know, and I was on a mission to squat 1,000 pounds. I was on a mission to bring Slingshot to the world, and I'm super proud of the fact that I got myself up to 330 pounds, which was a chore. It was every bit as hard doing that as it was, you know, leaning out and getting in really great shape. I got myself up to 330 pounds. I squatted 1,080, benched 854, deadlifted 766. I still have the highest total in the history of California with like a 2635 or whatever that number is. I'm really proud of the lifts that I hit. I did an 832-pound bench press and a single-ply bench shirt as well. I, at the time, had the biggest bench press of all time in my weight class for a full powerlifter, full meat powerlifter. And then in addition to that, I also benched 578 raw. I'm really very proud of all those numbers. But what I'm even more proud of is my wife and I raised our children And we raised our third baby, the Slingshot, kind of all during that time as well, which was not easy to do. But I see a lot of people in this game and a lot of people that are pursuing things, but things fall apart for them. You know, I see a lot of people, they pursue fitness or they pursue business, and then they get like super fat. You know, they gain a ton of weight because of the stress of the business and because of A, B, and C, right? But I want you guys to think of this, for me, you know, from the reason why I want you to think about this is because I want you to understand that you can do it all. You really can, and don't listen to anybody else, and you don't have to fall off. People are like, oh, I'm so busy with work. Oh, you got fat because you're busy with work. That doesn't actually make any sense. You know, I know some people in pursuit of their empire, they've lost themselves in some way or another, and I can, you know, strongly and very proudly say that my wife and I worked very hard to make sure none of those things happen. And we're still not out of the woods. I mean, we still have a lot of work ahead of us, and there's still a lot to do. You know, life is long, right? We have a lot to continue to work on to continue to get better. But my point here is that I pursued my powerlifting goals. When powerlifting was over and powerlifting was no longer available to me, I shifted gears. I got in shape. I got a six-pack. I got jacked. I got tan. I started teaching people about nutrition. I started teaching people about diet when it was time to shift and it was time to start to move into other things and to start pursuing other goals. I did start to focus a little bit more on the business at that point because I just had a little extra time, because I wasn't chasing those big powerlifting numbers anymore that were ever so consuming. But in my pursuit for that, I still was around the family. The family was still around me, and my point of the post was to be inclusive. You know, make sure that your wife, girlfriend, your significant other, make sure they know like who you're with, why you're with them, the importance of this person, especially if there's any doubt in their mind that there's any sort of attraction to that person. Like these things are massively important. And I know that sometimes, you know, I'm the people's coach, I'm the powerlifter guy, and people just want to learn how to bench press from me. But I've been around for a while, and I want to share my experiences with you guys. And I think that these things are important, especially for you younger men and women out there. You know, make sure people are aware of these different people that are coming into your life. You know, I had Jeremy Buendia here and his girlfriend. I had Colleen Foch here more recently. I've had Big J Extreme Fitness. I've had Charity Witt here in the past. And, you know, some of these, especially from a female perspective, you know, I've had some very gorgeous women here, right? Some very fit females. And you guys know how into lifting I am. It's important to me that my wife understands who these people are. My wife understands what these people are about. My wife understands that there's not any like weird shit going on, you know? And it's important for her, and it's important for me, and it's important like in our communication and in our pursuit. On top of it being important for our relationship, it's also important for business as well. Because we have to make sure that the business is functioning and that we have 20 people, you know, we got 20 mouths to feed, you can kind of think of, and it could all be screwed up through miscommunication or through, you know, just trying to have some weird side agenda, side piece, right? Having some side agenda thing going on. And I think it's good to point some of these things out. And in the post, I just talked about how simply just being inclusive can assist you in not being in compromising positions. Because as men, I think if you get yourself into too many compromising positions, that you might be kind of looking for trouble. You know, you might be heading down a path that's not great. And so my advice to you is like, just don't end up in those spots. You know, hey man, you want to go out, you know, Friday night, and you want to just calculate it a little bit, think about it a little bit, and say, yeah, you know what, that's probably not a great idea, right? So, you know, I know sometimes those posts aren't real popular, but I'm never going to stop doing them because I think they're important. I think the message is important. Today is day number 51, and we have Dave Castro coming in to SuperTraining Gym. I am super fired up, super excited. I basically call him the president of CrossFit, and that's not really his real title. He is the CrossFit Games director. He's the one who comes up with the absolutely insane, brutal workouts that those guys do. So it's going to be great to have him, former Navy SEAL, current badass. I know CrossFit gets bashed a lot, but we're gonna blow the lid off of CrossFit in this podcast today. We're gonna talk about any and everything, and we're gonna really make sure that you guys understand why I like CrossFit. Make sure you guys understand why I think it's a movement that has really changed fitness, and it's a movement that has benefited fitness a ton, all aspects of fitness. And I know people get hurt. I know some people think it's dumb and da-da-da-da-da. But, I don't think it's good to hate on it, because I think that CrossFit has done so much for the fitness community. And we owe a lot to Greg Glassman, Dave Castro. You can kind of think what you want about them. You could say what you want about them. Maybe you don't like them. Maybe you don't like CrossFit. That's fine. Maybe it's not your taste. That's totally 100% of your opinion. But I think it would be asinine to not recognize the positive impact that it's had on the fitness community, the strength community. It's rising all ships. Look at how powerful Rogue Fitness is, and look at how much Rogue Fitness is now helping out with strongman and powerlifting. You kind of see where I'm coming from on some of this. Like, they've done a lot of great things, and I have a great deal of respect and gratitude towards them. Anyway, I got to take a shit. Wave number 1's hitting, and I got to take my son to school, so I better get my ass moving. Day 51 of that carnivore-ness. What I wanted to hop on here and tell you guys, appreciate everyone that has signed up here at markbell.com. Thank you all so much. What I wanted to share with you is today is Thursday. And on Friday, which is tomorrow, we're going to start cutting down the fat calories. For those of you following along with the carnivore diet, following along with what I'm doing, I would like you to pursue this with me. We're going to go on about a 6-day low fat. We're going to lower that fat down quite a bit. So I need you to go to the store. I'll make a little grocery list in the description box below, but I need you to go to the store and get some lean meats. I'm going to use my Piedmontese steaks. I'm going to use some chicken breast. I'm going to use some egg whites. I'm going to use a lot of egg whites. I'm probably going to eat a lot of hard-boiled eggs, just eating just the whites alone. Those are going to be some of the things that I do. I might even have a little bit of vegetables in there as well, just to kind of move stuff along. I'm kind of fearful that if the fat is really low, that we might run into some problems, because I don't really typically eat fiber. So I might bring in a small introduction of that again. And then I'm also going to eliminate dairy for a few days. Maybe small amounts of cheese. Might have some small amounts of cheese, but I'm going to get rid of yogurt, milk, heavy cream, those things. Going to really drive down the fat calories. I'm going to Mexico, going to a wedding, and I want to be shred. And so it's kind of an experiment. I intentionally got myself up to about 245. And so this is a little bit of an experiment. And I think I can lose like 6 or 8 pounds, maybe even more, considering some of it's going to be water. But I think I can lose like 6 or 8 pounds in this short period of time, and I think I can look shred. I'm going to even throw in a fast, and I'll make you guys aware of what that's going to look like. But let's get prepared for Saturday. Today's Thursday. This will be up on Thursday. You'll be watching this the same day that I am recording it. And then we have, Friday, get some of your shopping in and start to work on lowering those fat calories. And by Saturday, we need to really be on point. And on Saturday, we're also going to kind of kick off that day. Let's kick off Saturday with, some egg whites and or a whey protein shake in the morning. And then let's fast for most of the day, and let's just have 2 meals. I don't really care how long the fast is. Let's just have 2 main meals. So 2 main meals and a protein shake. And then on Sunday, let's do a 16-hour fast, and let's and let's go with about 2 or 3 meals and keeping that protein high and the fat calories down low, okay? So there's some of the advice, and I'll give you more as we get going. So you're going to need some more advice for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, stuff like that as we move forward. But man, it's been amazing, you know, having markbell.com. Shout out to Josh Kim. Shout out to Josh Settlegate, aka Settlegate. These guys have been working around the clock on the website, and it's been amazing. It's been a dream come true for me. You're going to see me on there a lot more answering questions. I'm going to start shifting my time and attention over there and pulling it away from Instagram more and more and more. I'll still be on Instagram. I'll still be communicating with you, but it just, at this point in my life, I simply don't have time to invest in that as much as I'd like to any longer. So you're going to see some shifts, and maybe I'll change my mind. I don't know. We'll see how it all goes. But, you know, if you want detailed information from me, markbell.com is going to be the future of the resources of where to find all that. And on top of that, we're going to have exclusive, super duper top secret, super duper pooper scooper top secret footage and information that you're only going to be able to get off of markbell.com. And it's going to get more exclusive, and it's going to get more different as we keep chugging along. Thank you guys so much. Strength is never weakness. Weakness is never strength. Got one more thing to say to you. Heard a sick quote the other day. There's 2 things that you should never worry about. One is things that you can control, and 2 is things that you can't control. How awesome is that? For you worrywarts out there, you shouldn't be worried about much. Things are going to work out just fine. Things will work out the way that they're going to work out as long as you are putting in your work, and as long as you're being a good person and making the best, most reasonable decisions day in and day out. Catch y'all later. Look who I'm outside with. My little buddy. Hello, little D. I know I don't have any food. Sorry. Country living. Looking real nice. By the way, I threw this sweatshirt on and I didn't realize that I snotted all over it. Look at that. That's disgusting. It's like crusted on there. Sorry to make you barf so early in the morning, but it is what it be. Look at our little play structure over here. I think we need to demolish that thing. That's not working so good. There's my son's truck over there. All right, little D, take a poop. Go ahead, take a poop. Ready, go ahead, take a poop. She likes eating grass. Heading out to school. Short on time, so I made this guy drive. And I'm eating my meat as we're taking him to school. All right, let's check out the gym.
Yeah. How long have you been in this space?
I've been here for, I think, about 4 years or so.
And what is this, about 4,000?
Yeah. Yeah, this is about 4,500 square feet. And then I'll show you the other side too. We have some warehouse stuff. But yeah, it's been amazing. You know, it's been great to be able to kind of build this up over the years and get all the different pieces of equipment. We started SuperTraining in 2006. Okay. And started in a small spot of about 900 square feet. Kind of like you see with a lot of CrossFit boxes, you know, they start out and they continue to expand and expand and expand.
That's right around the time Bigger, Faster, Stronger came out too, right?
Right, yeah. It came out in like 2008.
Okay, a couple years later. Yeah. Yep. I remember watching that. That was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my brother and I are working now on a nutrition movie, so.
Okay.
You know, talking about like the carnivore diet and that
Very
kind
cool.
of stuff. And then
I think I saw you post about that a while back, right?
Yeah, we've been talking about it for a while. It's been a pain in the ass to try to get it. You know how those kind of things go. It's been tough.
Is your brother from around here too?
My brother lived in Los Angeles for a long time, but he lives up here now.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got a nice little boxing setup too.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if you've ever seen this thing before. Have you ever seen the tank?
No.
You ever seen this?
That looks nasty.
Yeah, this thing is brutal. I actually think it'd be pretty cool in like the CrossFit games.
Who makes it? These guys?
Yeah, what does it say on there? What's the company? Oh, the company is company is.
So what's it? What's the deal? Does it like?
Well, it just has. So it has a. It gives you resistance on the sides there. So if you crank this side up, then just walk with it. You don't really need a lot of weight on there either.
Yeah, you just.
But you feel that bad boy?
Yep.
Yeah, it's made by Torque Fitness. Is the company.
You know what's cool about it is you don't see push things often that actually roll nicely. You know, most of them, the resistance is just flat.
Yeah, or you can even pull it, or you can attach something to it, and
yep.
That thing's a monster. Just walk it down. Just walk it down to the end. You'll be like, shit.
Oh yeah. Any good distance.
Getting that crazy on it.
We'll be running it down.
I know.
Well, the key there is proper dosage. You know what I mean? So like, let's say I was gonna put mat on.
Right.
You know, it won't be this distance, but maybe it'll be 5 trips down.
Yeah, you gotta make them do a lot of them, yeah.
Yeah. Or increase the weight. That's cool.
How do you come up with, you know, some of these crazy ass workouts in the CrossFit Games?
You know, just sometimes just trying
to be a sick bastard.
No, just trying to think how we haven't challenged them and like what we can do, and actually without being too gimmicky. Right. I actually try to avoid being, because it's really easy to go down, well, we can do this crazy thing, we can do burpee backflips, we can do all of these wild things, but you don't want to follow the shiny objects and get sucked down some of those silly paths, because then you start, look at I'm breathing hard.
Yeah.
You start diverging from testing fitness. Right. Which we kind of have to stay. So oftentimes I will, when programming something, sometimes you go this way and I've got to come back. Let's say core, let's say focus. It doesn't mean we don't experiment with some
weird stuff here and there.
Yeah.
Throwing a softball or whatever.
Yeah, the softball. That was Greg's call. That was, he doesn't, he has sometimes he has inputs on what he wants to see in the game.
And then it happens.
And then it happens. And one of them was he wants to throw a softball. He wanted to throw a softball that year. And we said, okay, we'll include it. And
it's a great dynamic movement though, right?
It is. And you know what, it's functional as fuck. It's, you know, we've been throwing things since we were around, most likely, even for hunting back in the day, you know, and so
no other animal can do it.
Yeah, exactly.
An ape can't do it the way we can do it.
Nor can Jason Kalipa or Chris Feeler. Jason just texted me when I was driving in here. Yeah, there's a couple of guys who could not throw. It was a softball.
Are there more CrossFits popping up still in the U.S. or has that slowed down?
I mean, it's a little more like leveled out.
Yeah, because it went crazy for so long.
We have some that come, some that leave, some that go, and so it's constantly fluctuating. But overall, the number's still climbing. Right. Yeah. Not as fast as it was a couple of years ago. Yeah.
But, right.
I mean, there's 15,000, you know.
Right.
Had to slow down at some point.
Exactly. I know you can't keep going up forever.
Yeah.
You'd like to,
but what's interesting is there's still so much potential for growth, and like even like just saying, is there one in Dixon? And it's like no, and like you know, there's a lot of it. For as many as there are, it's still there's plenty of opportunity.
Where they're not there,
And then you look at some places like Sacramento. I bet you there's many where they're on top of each other, really close. And
they are.
It's the same way in any big city, San Jose, San Diego.
Yeah.
Some are really close. I had a gym in San Diego that their 400-yard turnaround point, actually the 200-yard turnaround point was another CrossFit gym.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I've seen a few places. In Miami, there's a place like that too. It's wild.
It's like sprints out of their CrossFit gym,
and
get a workout in over there and then sprint back.
Right.
Yeah.
The question though in those scenarios is how they get along.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're fine with each other and oftentimes they're not.
What do you do for training?
CrossFit.
Yeah.
But I enjoy running too, so I dose in some running. I program my own CrossFit workouts, and I kind of just try to focus. Like I get into these zones where I'm just doing the same things over and over, just to try to improve one thing. Right. Like I like to repeat workouts every 4 or 5 days. I'll do it, and then do some stuff to support it, and then 5 days later try it again. Right. Right now I'm trying to work on my deadlift, get it back up a little.
You might be able to right place.
I know a little bit about it.
Exactly.
What attracted you to it?
Well, it worked. That's the thing. CrossFit,
because you already had a good training base, right?
Work, yeah. And so when I was overseas in Afghanistan, we would train for our missions, most of us, by running. And actually there was two camps of SEALs. There were guys who did a lot of running, and then there were big fucking strong guys who just like to lift weights. And you it depended on which direction you
Your
went.
body.
And each guy should switch, right? The runner should lift.
They
and the
should,
lifter
but they
should
never
run,
did.
Right?
Yeah,
no
they
one ever does.
Actually, kind of until CrossFit started coming around. That's
Right.
when that started coming together. But at that point, guys were either into, and when I say lifting, there was not a lot of powerlifting or weightlifting. It was all like bodybuilding stuff.
Right.
And I was into running because I'm a leaner guy. And so I'd run and I'd run more, and we'd go on these missions, and I'd still feel gassed, or like it didn't help me by, the running didn't help translate to doing the operations. So then someone recommended CrossFit. Actually, Mark Twight, the climber.
Mm-hmm.
We did a lot of trips with him, and we did a trip to Yosemite
He's
actually.
kicking everybody's ass.
And I asked him, cool, because all of Mark's stuff, I'd read all his books. I was huge into climbing. All of Mark's stuff at that time, some of his books and everything talk about long, slow distance. He was all an LSD guy, bike for 3 hours, run for an hour. And so I asked him about all that, and he goes, oh yeah, I don't do that anymore. I'm like, well, what do you do? And he said, I do CrossFit. And I go, what's that? And he starts explaining it to me. And if you've ever met Mark, no offense, but he's like his size. He's like a little guy. And I'm like, yeah.
Could have left the little guy part out.
I don't know if I'm going to listen to this guy about how to train for going to war and how to stay fit. So I didn't do it. I ignored him. And then I started researching CrossFit, and I started watching all the videos and checking it out. And it was intriguing to me, but intimidating, because a lot of the stuff, like I didn't grow up doing functional movements or doing Olympic weightlifting. So I was like, I don't know if I should try this. I don't know if I can.
Yeah, cleans and front squats
exactly.
and all that shit. You're like,
Well, I was overseas again, and I was sitting at a computer, and I had a friend who was big into fitness, another SEAL, and I was looking at the CrossFit site. He's like, what are you looking at? And I'm like, CrossFit. He's like, what's that? And I said, it's this cool program that mixes all those modalities, and it's the best way to get in shape. I was lying to him because I had never done it. And I was like, you should give it a try. And he's like, oh yeah, that looks awesome. So he started doing it, and I started paying attention from the sidelines.
Your guinea pig.
Yeah, exactly, and he loved it. And then I was like, all right, I got to try this. And I started doing it, and it worked. And I felt like when I went on missions, I was in the best shape I'd ever been in, and it really helped me.
Right.
And it was good preparation for what we were doing. And then at that point, it became hooked. And then I came out to California, and then decided to come see what it was all about from them. That's where I met Greg. And
even doing one workout is different.
Yeah.
Even just trying one CrossFit workout is different. I mean, you have workouts that are 12 minutes long or something like that.
Well,
I mean,
that
you might have to warm up for it, but it takes about 12 minutes to do it.
Yeah.
that was the thing. I mean, there
And
was
it
some that would
kills
take
you.
4 or 5 minutes, and it
Yeah,
and,
they absolutely immerse you.
Yep. And it doesn't get, just because you get faster doesn't mean it gets easier either.
Right.
Yeah, that was the hard part. And so I've been doing it since, and I haven't, so I've been doing CrossFit since 2005, 15 years, and everyone talks about how dangerous it is, and I haven't had any major injury.
Right.
And I'm not fitter than I was maybe 5, 6, 7, 10 years ago. There's definitely a point where, but I also have different priorities. Like I'm not as concerned with being super fit. I'm concerned with maintaining fitness and having certain things I want to do. But I haven't been injured, and at this point too, for me with CrossFit, it's like I don't see any other period in my life where I won't be doing anything other than this. Like,
Was it the same when you started?
What do you mean?
I know the company has changed, but
yeah.
was the workouts and stuff, was a lot of that already developed?
The way I still do CrossFit, yeah, it's pretty much the same as it was back then. I'm not big into, a lot of guys these days are doing multiple workouts and a lot of things. I've never gone down that path. I just like to do the old school way, warm up, do one good workout, and then cool down. I also don't like how people combine strength training with CrossFit workouts every day, because I think you're neglecting one or the other, and usually you're neglecting the strength training. I think the strength stuff with CrossFit should be one day, one workout.
Right.
Like, if you're gonna deadlift, how about you just deadlift for that hour, and you warm up properly, you do a good session, and then you get out. You see people like, we're going to establish a 1 rep max in 10 minutes. And I'm like, well, that's not really enough time to train it properly. So, but there's a lot of trends you see like that in programming that come and go with CrossFit. But I stick to like one workout, 3 on, 3 days, 1 rest, 3 days, 1 rest.
How did Greg come up with it?
Well, he was a gymnast back in high school, and he was a really good gymnast. And the story he tells is, off season to train for the ring work, he decided to incorporate dumbbells and weight training. And nobody else at that time was using weight training to train for gymnastics. So he started experimenting with incorporating those movements. He was also an avid cycler. So then he just decided to start combining elements. And he lived in LA for a really long time, was in the Gold's Gym scene,
that's what he was
really
telling me.
familiar
Gold
with
Venice with the
Yep.
bodybuilders and stuff
Yep,
like that.
was really familiar with that whole scene, bodybuilding. Started training some firefighters, first responders, cops, and started experimenting on them. Started combining elements, started playing with
Started
different-
making people throw up. As
yeah,
kind of
exactly.
tail, right? Yeah.
And saw the results from it. And in that, and even way back then, he was experimenting with diet too. And he was a big fan of Zone back in the day, just because it was low carb,
Right.
and it was working. And so he started experimenting with people with reducing carbs or cutting back on carbs,
Right.
controlling the amount of carbs, and saw results. And really, so in the early 2000s, he was forming it all and developing
Right.
it all and playing with it. And then in 2001, well, I guess so the 90s. Then in 2001, he put it online, and then it started growing because of
Yeah.
putting
When
something
I-
on the internet.
When I was at that seminar, it was amazing. The guy I sat with, I started talking. I'm like, "Oh, what do you do?" He's like, "Oh, I do some website stuff." And it turns out he's like the guy that put the first blog up in
Yeah.
2001. I'm like, "You're a fucking legend. This is amazing!" Like,
There's still a handful of
Yeah.
those guys that are around that Greg worked with really old
yeah, I was
school
like,
in the
"Holy shit,
back-
that's a
back
big
in the
deal.
day.
You've made the first post." Let me show you around the rest of the place.
Yeah. Cool.
There's a lot of slingshot products. There's knee sleeves, elbow sleeves, wrist wrap.
Damn, this is cool.
Just basically everything you can kind of think of to like mummify yourself. Cool. This is Casey. Casey, this is Dave.
Casey?
Good, how you doing? You look familiar. Dave Castro, right? Nice to meet you. Very nice.
Yeah, Casey used to be my neighbor, and he used to see us getting all these shipments of all this crap in all the time. And
This stuff used to come to your house?
his stuff used to come to my house. Yeah, me and my wife slanging it out of the garage. And then he was like, "What do you guys do?" You know, and I told him we had an invention, and it just so happened that he did logistics.
Oh, wow.
And so then we decided to kind of get everything all in one-stop shop.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Tom.
Pleasure. Nice to meet you.
Oh, get out the way.
This is our podcast
This is
room.
cool.
Yeah.
Nice little setup.
Cold, so we gotta snuggle up.
Yeah, it might be better just not to know, right?
Can I get you guys to squeeze in real quick?
Close, uncomfortably close.
I like
Hey
it.
now,
Rough
Feel how cold I
family.
am.
you are kind of chilly.
One,
I'll warm you up.
one more.
You are leaning pretty hard.
Yeah.
Perfect.
How often are you filming these?
Okay.
We do this a few times a week.
Yeah, talk about uncontrollable boners.
Yeah.
No.
So I'm gonna put Bo up.
So you're big into lifting too, powerlifting.
Huh?
He's a
Yeah.
PJ guy.
I like to lift. I
Jiu-jitsu.
like to roll with guys and stuff. It's great.
Some bodybuilding.
Some bodybuilding too.
Some of it all.
Yeah. I just like to move good.
How long have you been doing jiu-jitsu?
A little bit over 4 years now. Yeah. December was year 4. So 4 years and 3 months. Yeah, I love it, man. It's turned into another addiction in terms of fitness. We'll see if that
How often do you go?
almost every day. Pretty
Oh,
much
man.
every day. Yeah, pretty much every day. And then I lift like 3 or 4 times. So
You gotten into that before too? Or no?
No. There's only so many hobbies, so many things you can do.
Yeah.
And like if I was to dive into that, I'd be like you. I'm going to go
Yeah,
every
you-
day. And
Do you have something like that
I have
though?
many things like
You
that.
have many things like that.
Mainly shooting.
Okay. Ah, the M17 shirt actually. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Have you been shooting for a super long time?
Yeah. Pretty much my whole life. I'm 42, and I was shooting when I was a kid. But then when I was in the Navy, I was in the Navy for 12 years. Shot through all of that,
Yeah.
and then I got out, and I've been competitive shooting off and on for the last 10 years.
So competitive shooting is the stuff like there's targets and you're running from thing
Yeah,
to thing and
yeah.
oh my god. Okay. That's awesome.
Ready to go?
Ish.
Appreciate it. Slide me the meat.
I did.
This
All
is my
that I
meat delivery guy.
I'm the meat man.
He's the brother-in-law that I talk about that we're doing the walk runs in the morning. We've been getting after it.
He gets 4 patties. I only get 2 because he gets after it harder.
There you go. I like it. The bag has got some weight to it. This is from Five Guys. I think that these are better than In-N-Out. Five Guys. Do you guys think that? Let me know what you think. Keep in mind, this is when considered eating this way in a carnivore fashion. So with the bun, it might be a different story. With the bun, an In-N-Out burger is really good. With the bun, I never had Five Guys, I don't think. I've only had it without the bun. But in comparison to an In-N-Out Flying Dutchman versus this, I think that this is better because it's less salty. I think the cheese might be a little bit better. Pretty delicious. I hope this helps with my squats. See if I can try not to fart after eating those burgers. This bar makes it a little tough.
To not fart?
Yep. Actually feels good. Just kind of standing here with it. Set number one. Pretty cool how you can just kind of move right up when you get good at it. Whew. Couple ways to do box squats. You can either sit on the box, release your hips. That's what Louis Simmons recommends for most training. Some people like to do a touch and go, where they just feel the box and come up. There's a good reason to sit on the box though and release, let your hips release and then explode into it. I'm sure Mark can explain that really, really well, better than I can. But it just makes you explosive. It's like if you're gonna get out of a chair, you do it fast, not slow. Hardest thing's putting it back.
There we go.
lot of reps. Whoa. That's it. That's all I'm doing. So here we go now. Yep, nice. Here you go, good. Here we go. Yep, come on now. There we go, good. Good pop. Good pop on that one, nice. Yep, here we go now. Come on, get underneath it again. Let's go. Yes, here you go, good. Come on, Jess. Yep, there you go, good. Let's go, get good air here, get good air. Let's go, come on now. Finish strong, finish strong. Come on now. All the way through, let's go. Yep, there you go, good. Yeah. Think this is a healthy practice over here? Look at all the carbs this guy's eating.
Save me some.
For everybody that's on the carnivore diet and who everyone's trying to go keto, this guy's eating all your carbs.
Bucket of gains.
Yeah.
That's right, my bucket of gains.
What you got in there? You got rice and you got ground beef.
Salt and chicken stock.
There we go. Some monster mash, huh?
That's right.
How much of that do you cook up in a week?
Oh, jeez.
A lot.
A pound of ground beef a day and 2 to 3 cups of white rice.
Damn.
Times 7.
Shouldn't you be bigger?
I should. Yeah.
Hey, at least you're jacked though. We got some arms going here. We got some traps. And then you are the most dangerous man in this room anyway, I think.
Since Encima left.
Yeah, exactly. So
Encima and Dave Castro.
if you wanted, you could just like break our arm, which wouldn't be nice. All right, keep those gains going, buddy. Just got done with another epic training session at SuperTraining Gym. A lot of the team and a lot of the Slingshot HQ staff started to work their way in and started to start lifting, which is great. You got to see in the video there, you got to see Jessica Smith. There were some other savages in there training hard and working hard, and it's just a great environment. I ended up handling 505 for a triple with 20, 40, 60, 80 pounds of chains on there. So about 585 at the top. A long way to go in terms of, you know, trying to progress to what I want to do. I definitely like to move around 6 plates, some squats coming up soon. Not really 100% sure on when that'll happen, but I do know that it will happen. Appreciate everybody following along here on YouTube. And again, I just want to reference markbell.com for anyone who's interested in seeing all the activities that I do and seeing all the different movements that I do. Not only movements, but just like what my day looks like day to day. I know a lot of you guys are seeing it through here. Like, again, I'm not going to shy away from sharing a lot of free content, but we also have developed a pay site that gives you more information and gives you exclusive content that you can only get at markbell.com. My brother and I have started to do a series of things and come together on some collaborations of things, and there's going to be a lot of stuff that my brother and I do together that you will only see at markbell.com. Anyway, it felt good to get after it. Felt good to get some weight on my back again, and it was great to get in there with some friends and train with my brother today, and he's doing great. He was handling some good weights in there today too. I think he worked his way up to 405 for a double with the chains on there. Again, the chains help to accommodate resistance. He got more weight at the top, less weight at the bottom. When you're in the least advantageous position, which is in the hole of the squat, is where the weights lighten up. You're able to apply more force and be a little faster out of that position, and because you're able to be a little faster, you're able to tack on more weight as you go up. There's more and more chain weight on the bar, more and more resistance, and so therefore you're able to lock it out as you get into a more advantageous position. Does that make sense? Like, you guys know you can stand up with a lot more than you can actually squat, right? Hopefully that is sinking in. It's another training stimulus, another way to lift. It's not a different way to lift in a sense of like that would be the only way that you train. It's just an add-on. It's something else you can do. The way I've been training lately, I'm trying to not really have any negative feedback from workouts. So what some of that means is, like, I don't mind getting sore, and I don't mind having some intensity, but I don't want to get like overly sore. Like, I want a reasonable amount of soreness, tenderness. I want zero injury, which is always the case with lifting, but I don't want to roll the dice on anything. Like today, back felt good, legs felt good, so I was able to handle the squat. Legs felt good this morning on the run, so I was able to handle the run walk for today at a reasonable pace. Speaking of run walking and speaking of that kind of stuff, what I'd like you guys to adopt and to move into, usually not that many cars coming this way, what I'd like you guys to adopt and to move into, damn, it's hard to turn my fat neck, is, you know, always trying to do better on everything all the time. Seriously, like always trying to, maybe not always trying to always do better all the time on everything, but, you know, at least keeping track of what it is that you're doing and then trying to perform a little bit better on it, at least on occasion, you know, push it. But like, I've been doing 5:30 a.m., been doing 3-mile walk run, right? It started out as a walk run, and then it turned into more of a, well, it started out as a walk, and then it turned into a walk run, and then it turned into a run walk, and then I kind of tweaked my hammy and I had to slow down again. So I'll be able to pick the pace back up again soon, but my point is try to always push. Like, so what? Like, I got hurt a little bit, not a big deal. Small amount of negative impact from the, or small amount of negative feedback from the training. I said I don't want any. I didn't foresee that happening with moderate intensity running that I was doing, but I'm just not prepared for it. I'm just not used to it, and so that's what happened. Not a big deal. I'm not overly concerned with that. That's just the way that went. Anyway, the point is even if you're going to walk these, you know, 2 or 3 mile walks that you might do in the morning, you know, I'm promoting the 10-minute walks. I still promote that. But on occasion, get out there and go for a longer duration walk and practice your nasal breathing. Listen to a podcast. Listen to one of my videos. Whatever it is that you find peaceful and whatever it is you can learn from, right? Practice some nasal breathing, go on a long walk, but make sure that you time it, so that way you can try to do better next time. Like, get a little hitch in your giddy up, you know, get your ass moving, like get going. If you have to jog a little bit of it to cheat, you know, just whatever way you got to do it, try to always do better. If it takes you an hour to go 3 miles, it takes you an hour to go 3 miles, try to have it take 50 minutes the next time. Things like that. Like, just, that's reasonable. Like, I don't know why you wouldn't be able to advance and do that. So anyway, on my way home, drinking a country grammar, I like to call it, 100 grams of protein, Slingshot protein, hydrolyzed whey protein that digests really well, Slingshot protein. I love it. I've been taking it for years, and I've been enjoying it for a long time. I know that some people might think 100 grams is way too much, but I do it often, and I enjoy it often, and I like it. A lot of times I'll do it when I'm not fasting. I'll do it post-workout, but when I'm fasting, I normally don't mess with things like that. Anyway, you know, as you may be aware, I'm going to move into some new, different style of diet type stuff. I'm going to lower the fat calories down for a few days, and then I have some fun stuff to do after that is over. I got kind of a new thing I'm going to be messing with, where I'm going to, like, not allow for any cravings and not allow for any hunger over like a level of like 3 or 4. Not that I'm not going to allow any cravings, because cravings are going to happen, but anytime I'm hungry, I'm going to feed myself. And if I have a craving for something, I'm going to replace it with something else. And so I'll give you guys more details as that comes. But over the next few days, today is Thursday, I think on Friday, and so tomorrow and Saturday, starting mainly on Saturday, I'm going to start to really chop down the amount of fat calories. And so I'm doing so by getting rid of milk, by getting rid of heavy cream, by ditching cheese, things like that. So get ready for that. We got another day. You know, we can fart around tomorrow a little bit. Today I had some burgers from Five Guys with some cheese on them. And so that'll be the probably last time I do that. I won't mess around with doing that tomorrow. And I'll start to prep for Saturday to chop those fat calories down, get the mind right. And we're going to try to shred up, because I'm going to Mexico and I'm going to a wedding and I want to be leaned out. amazing day having Dave Castro in the house, one of the OGs of CrossFit. I have a tremendous amount of respect for CrossFit. I think it's a tremendous movement, and it ain't going anywhere. I know people think it's dying. I think people think it's slowing down. It hasn't flinched at all. It's been kicking ass for a long time, and it will continue to do so. The program works. It gets men and women in great shape. It gets people in great physical condition. It makes people look awesome, and it's getting a lot of people healthy. So anything that helps people get healthy, I think we all need to be a little bit more lenient towards, and a little bit more open-minded towards, is what I think about that. Anyway, gonna go home, eat some food, and get ready for just kind of kicking it with my kids and my wife. This is a hell of a way to come home to some fungi and some meat. Look at these ribeyes. Hey! Oh man, got her cranked up, ready to go. Got a ribeye, prime ribeye, a Piedmontese tomahawk. This is gonna be amazing. Once again, hey!